So starting the test drive in the CT5-V here, I love the sound that you get from the exhaust. Just a great sound all in all. And even though it isn't a Blackwing, the V6 does a pretty good job at getting up to speed with ease. And I'm not gonna thrash it, but I'm gonna put it in the manual mode. Let's see what it can do. So very quick, and again, this is just with moderate throttle push. Very impressed with the overall power of this thing. And what's great is you also, when you're not putting your foot into it, you're getting 18 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway. EPA estimate, of course, but just fantastic. And we have the adaptive cruise on now. And we also have the lane keep assist with lane departure on now. So as you go out of the lines, it'll kind of ping you back in. It's not a lane centering assistant, but pretty good for what it is. And with a vehicle like this, I would just want to have the full control of being able to drive this, because it's so much fun to drive. And again, you're looking at mid-50s as opposed to paying almost 100 grand for a Blackwing. Unless you just have money to blow, I just recommend getting this, because I feel like you'll have less problems down the road, but also it's more efficient. It's probably more comfortable. I haven't driven a CT5-V Blackwing yet. The CT4-V Blackwing wasn't that bad in terms of ride quality, but you pretty much had the same powertrain with that 3-liter V6 that was twin turbocharged. But this here is it's comfortable, it's fast, and it looks good. Now, I think a good competitor for this V, the CT5-V, is the Lexus IS 350. I think the 500 having the naturally aspirated V8 is not a true competitor. I mean, you could consider it that way, but I mean, an IS 350 basically similarly equipped with an F Sport package and all of that, around the same price, maybe a little bit cheaper, but that has a naturally aspirated V6. I think it has 311 horsepower. This has a bit more, but this one, just having the twin turbo setup, I just think this is a good bargain, especially with it being a Cadillac. Now, the seats aren't full leather. This one doesn't have the ventilated seats in it, but I just like the cabin setup more as opposed to the Lexus. Love the screen, and also just, love the steering wheel, the dash, all of that. And then just having the 10-speed automatic to make it even more efficient. But what's crazy is with the twin turbo setup, if you just give it a little bit of throttle, it doesn't, it drives like a naturally aspirated V6. But then when you really put your foot down into it, you start to feel those turbos come to life, and man, it pushes, it really does. It kind of reminds me how when the CT6 twin turbo came out, how, I don't even want to say revolutionary, but it was just the first time I had been behind something like that. It was wild. Just behind the wheel of such a smooth riding vehicle, and then to be able to push it to its limits like that was just great. And especially giving it some pull, or I should say giving it some throttle in track mode. Coming down on an interstate is the best way to really do it. As you're going through the shift points, just hearing that backfire from the exhaust with those snappy shifts, it's just super enjoyable. And again, for it to be in this price point, just makes it that much more of a good choice, in my opinion. And then adaptive cruise being standard is fantastic. Having your lane keeping system, blind spot monitors, just a good overall buy, in my opinion, especially if you want something that's kind of sports car oriented. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Cadillac CT5-V series.